What sort of responses did you get for Pal Pal Dil Ke Paas Hai?
So Pal Pal, luckily I got great reviews and I have to thank the audiences.
You had several scenes with Shabana ji and she seemed to be taking you very seriously.
Shabana ma'am is such a great performer. I mean, I don't even have to say it, but just watching her, she's an institution in itself.
Sir, how ambitious are you?
I'm very ambitious and I feel that's the only way to survive in the industry. Hi, this is Sahher Bambba and you're watching Bollywood Hungama. Do subscribe.
We have with us a very talented Sahher Bambba here in the Hungama office. We'll talk to her about a lot of things that she has been doing and what really has made her what she is today. Pleasure having you back with us, Sahher.
Thank you, likewise.
और मैं आपसे शुरू में ये जानना चाहूँगा कि आपका कैसा तजुर्बा था जब आप मुंबई में आई और apparently आप एक कमरे में 8 लड़कियों के साथ में आपने रहना शुरू किया था.
जी.
That is some struggle. Tell us something about it.
जब मैं बॉम्बे आई तो मुझे पता नहीं था कि what have I signed up for. I just came to Bombay with the passion, with the dream of becoming an actor, and I didn't even know कि वो हो भी पाएगा कि नहीं. It was a big risk. But मैंने ये सोचा था that I'm simultaneously going to be doing my college, and 3 साल हैं मेरे पास to either do something or maybe then go back to my hometown. And when I came here, that's when reality hit me. Because obviously being born and brought up in Shimla, I led a very protected life. Then I went to a boarding school which was even more protected. And then when I came here, that's when I realized that it's not a bed of roses. I came here, I understood how do you travel, how do you commute. Then that's when I started taking the local trains. And then accommodation is obviously has always been an issue in Mumbai. Yeah. So I was living in a hostel next to my college, and there was this one room with like 8 girls. We had bunker beds, so all of that. But I still look at it as like fond memories and great memories. Those 8 months were really, actually, when I look back, those were the most fun months of my life.
Right, and traveling in local trains, that is crowded local trains.
Yes.
So where was your hostel located?
Churchgate.
Churchgate. I think that's advantageous in a way because you don't get to experience the peak traffic. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
okay.
And also I remember my first ever experience in a local train. My friend from Indore and myself, we didn't even know there's a separate compartment for women. So on a peak hour, we just went in that main compartment where there were so many people. Little did we know that there's a separate section for women.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. All right. Okay. And then you got selected for Pal Pal Dil Ke Paas Hai.
Yes.
And rest is history, as they say. And now you're part of a historical, so you can see that as well. All right. So, what sort of responses did you get for Pal Pal Dil Ke Paas Hai?
So Pal Pal, luckily I got great reviews, and I have to thank the audiences and everybody who had great things to write about my performance, because I was very new. Whatever I learned on the film, like on the job, literally. The film took a little while. It took almost 2 years for us to finish and for it to finally release. And so yeah, I still look at it as a very fond experience, and I learned so much on that film. So luckily the reviews were great. So I mean, it was good.
Definitely, you got positive reviews. I saw the film. It's, I think, very apparent. We watch a lot of content, and वो spark जो है वो या तो होता है वो या फिर नहीं होता है. So, वो definitely spark था. That is something that we discussed when we met.
Thank you.
As well. Okay, and Pal Pal Dil Ke Paas Hai happened. The movie did not do that well.
Yes.
I'm sure that must have been a bit of a disappointment as well. Then what happened?
Then, like I said, because reviews अच्छे थे, तो I got to meet a lot of directors, producers, even after the release, even after the film not having done well. So met a lot of people during that phase, but I was still without work for 5 months, even after Pal Pal. And 5 months later is when I got The Empire. And literally 2 days after working on The Empire, lockdown happened, and then the whole nation went into lockdown, and then we didn't get to shoot for 7-8 months, then came back, then started shooting for it again, and then again the second pandemic happened. So and then simultaneously while I was shooting for The Empire, my next show came to me, which is going to be releasing now on 26th November.
Dil Bekarar.
Dil Bekarar, yes.
जी सो अब जब एम्पायर जब मैंने देखा तो जो मेरा एक जो ऑब्जर्वेशन था कि समवन लाइक शबाना आजमी, यू नो, सो शी इज सच एन एक्टर ऑफ स्टेचर दैट अगर वो सामने वाले एक्टर को अगर वो पूरे तरीके से इज्जत नहीं दे पा रही हैं तो वो नजर आएगा, ऐसा मुझे लगता है. Okay, and you had several scenes with Shabana ji, and she seemed to be taking you very seriously. Everyone else did as well. Would you say that it was maybe the biggest platform that you could have ever thought for yourself? Because production values ke level pe it was very grand.
Correct.
And even the way it was just built, and whoever has watched it, they have liked the show.
Yes. I was very excited just when I got to know about the star cast and the very fact that you mentioned that Shabana ma'am के साथ इतने सारे scenes थे. That was like definitely a highlight for me, and also I've always wanted to do something like that, like a periodic series, and it's very rare that you get these opportunities to be working on, you know, on periodic drama. And Shabana ma'am is she's such a great performer. I mean, I don't even have to say it, but just watching her, she's an institution in itself. So it was amazing working on the Empire.
All right, so what was the entire experience like in terms of, because I think मेरे ख्याल से once in a lifetime opportunity होती है, जिसने भी अगर मुगल आजम करा है, जिसने भी उस लेवल की अगर फिल्म रज़िया सुल्तान अगर करा है, सो वो आई थिंक हमेशा वो रेजोनेट करती है, चीज़ रिवर्बरेट करती है. सो इन टर्म्स ऑफ गेटिंग द स्क्रिप्ट, प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर योर रोल, आई थिंक द कॉस्ट्यूम्स वर ब्यूटीफुल. आई थिंक दे मस्ट बी हेवी एज वेल.
Very heavy.
So that must have been quite a task. So tell us something about the various experiences that you had.
So I actually got cast very last minute for the series, and the very next day I was on shoot. I had no idea about the script. I just very little, the director Mitaksha Nikhil sir briefed me a little bit about my character and about the scene that we had to shoot that very day. Right. And the very next day pandemic happened, and that was the time I actually utilized a lot judiciously. I read the script several times. I was constantly in touch with my Urdu coach for the nuktas and for the pronunciations of certain words, and then constantly, you know, I was on Zoom calls with Mitaksha and Nikhil sir to understand the character and all of those things. And finally, when we started shooting here in Mumbai after the pandemic, and when I saw the set, and it was like, oh my god, like I didn't even expect that. It literally felt like, you know, you were teleported to that specific era. Also the costumes and the hair and makeup added to that.
You know, one very important factor that has come out of, say, something like Empire, for example, that the scale today of OTT is grand. You know, it's not like a chota parda at all.
Yes.
When we see like a Money Heist, for example, maybe the production values, they are much bigger and better than mainstream big Hollywood movies as well. What does this tell you about the future? You're still a very young actor. You've tasted the entire experience of the reach and how it means to be shot visually and the entire element.
Yes.
What does this tell you about the future?
I feel the pandemic maybe has shifted a lot of things, and the lines have gotten even more blurred after that. So I feel like people just today want to watch good content regardless whether it's on OTT or theatre. And luckily, you know, I did have those thoughts of what's going to happen to theatres. People are going to go, whether or not they're going to go to the theatres. But touch wood, you know, I'm seeing that people are going, and it's great for the entire film industry. But I feel it eventually boils down to you know, content and people wanting to watch good content.
Okay, जैसे बहुत बार क्या होता है कि बॉक्स ऑफिस जो है वो इट कैन बी अ ग्रेट थिंग एज वेल, एट द सेम टाइम इट कैन बी ट्रिकी एज वेल, कि जो एक्टर की जो एक्टिंग स्किल्स हैं जो भी है वो यार्डस्टिक उसमें यही होता है कि आपकी फिल्म चली कि नहीं चली, एंड देन इन अ वे यू आर जज फॉर दैट. लेकिन जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल एम्पायर में हमने देखा कि आपका जो किरदार है वो लंबा किरदार है. इट्स हैविंग अ सब्सटेंशियल स्क्रीन टाइम एज वेल. देयर इज नो आपके किरदार को बिल्ड करने में कोशिश की गई है, उसके ऊपर मेहनत की गई है, बजाय इसके कि दैट एक जो सपोजिट जो एक स्टार वैल्यू होती है उसको कैपिटलाइज करने के तरीके से. तो स्टार्स क्रिएट हो रहे हैं अभी आज के टाइम पे, नए नए एक्टर्स जो हैं दे आर बिकमिंग स्टार्स इन इट्स ओन वे. सेम थिंग आपके दिल बेकरार के प्रोमो में भी मैं देख रहा हूँ कि दैट यू नो यू आर कमिंग अक्रॉस एज अ सीजन्ड एक्टर इन अ वे सो अर्ली in your career. Does that make it more liberating as an actor? Less element of fear कि यार मतलब एक बार को अगर there is no that Friday का yardstick मेरे ऊपर नहीं है.
जी बिल्कुल.
Do you find that liberating?
Definitely, like you said, you are judged on the basis of the previous Friday, and it's unfortunate also because sometimes जो आपने perform किया है that just gets ignored. Whereas I feel on OTT, definitely as actors, I feel it's a great time to also be on OTT because it's a lot more liberating and ऐसा कोई pressure नहीं होता है box office and all. And you can perform a lot more differently, I feel.
Right. Okay. Now, when I'm seeing the promo of Dil Bekarar, मुझे एक चीज़ का ये एक feeling आ रही है कि that you're coming across as a seasoned performer. ये आपके पहले फिल्म से ये चीज़ सामने देखने को आई है. What sort of training have you done in Shimla or even otherwise?
To be very honest, training I've very recently started. I've started just to, because I feel as actors you constantly need to hone your craft. So very recently I've enrolled myself. I have this teacher who I go to and started doing workshops and just trying to see where it takes me, and just for fun's sake I've been doing it. But before this, Pal Pal was my first film. Before that I had zero training in acting whatsoever, and like I said, everything that I was learning, it was on the job. And then after that I just kept following my gut. I kept following whatever felt right for the scene. And in between I did do a workshop with Mr. Atul Mongia that also helped me understand acting a lot better. But I think it's now that I'm taking it even more seriously and trying to work on my craft even more. Whether it's dancing, whether it's acting, I feel like I feel that I'm more driven now.
This is something जो कि मैंने आपसे पहले भी आपके इंटरव्यू में पूछा था जब आप ऑफिस में आप आई थी. Obviously, first interview was with Sunny sir and Rocky. So you have very fine communication skills. When you talk, so you talk very fluently, and your thought process comes across very in a very mature and sensible manner. Is that something which is cultivated, or that comes naturally to you? However, because it's a very good quality to have.
Oh, thank you so much. I've actually never thought about it. I've not been. I mean, there's no training whatsoever. But thank you so much. Yeah, I think it's just whatever I feel, I just speak.
So do you like to read as well?
I read very different stuff. Like I read a lot of spiritual stuff now, but otherwise I'm not much of a reader.
And what sort of content do you consume?
I consume a lot of interesting content. Like I very recently finished Schitt's Creek, Patal Lok, anything and everything. Which
talking about Dil Bekarar, for example, how was the experience like? Because we get that element of, I think, 80s, for example, Doordarshan, and it seems interesting.
Yes, it was interesting because, like you said, I've not done anything like that before, and it's this adaptation of a novel. It's a much loved literary character that I'm playing on screen, Devjani Thakur's character, who's this newsreader. So it's a fun story. I feel people hopefully should like it.
So did you follow any of the newsreaders of 1980s?
I did do a lot of research, just to see the the way they speak and the flow and the body language and all that.
I think Fla, you're talking about what's the name? Sultana? What's the name?
I did watch a lot of her videos also.
So she used to have Fla in her hair and all that. Okay, all right. That's interesting. And it was the way एक बहुत ही characteristic तरीके से बैठना and just speak. Those are the times when people used to watch news to hone their English speaking skills.
I've been told so. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah.
I don't know if they can do that now. Now today it's too much of noise, which is very interesting. All right, and Sir, how ambitious are you?
I'm very ambitious, and I feel that's the only way to survive in the industry, and the only way to survive in a city like Mumbai, which is expensive, and living on your own can be a little daunting sometimes. But I mean, because I'm driven, I feel like you just there's no other option. You just have to do it.
So what else apart from Dil Bekarar?
So I'm in talks for other stuff also, and very soon I'll be sharing.
Do you like to watch theatre? Do you like watching plays by any chance?
It's been a long time that I haven't, but in school and all, I've always been part of a theatre group.
Okay, and what has been the contribution of Shimla in your overall growth so far?
You know, now I value the place so much more, because while growing up I was always like where am I born? It's hills all around me and snow all around me and all of those things. But now I value it so much more because I feel like it really gives me the peace of mind. After being in a city like Mumbai for so many years, when I go back I feel like I get the best sleep, and just the mountains, and it's serene and it's lovely.
So how often do you go to Shimla?
I try and go, like I was just there for Diwali, and maybe I'm going to be going there for Christmas, New Year's. So it's just amazing, and I value it just so much more.
And what has been the contribution of your parents?
In my journey so far,
yeah.
I think they're like pillars. They like literally, like whenever I'm having a bad day or a low day, they're just a phone call away, and just speaking to them just makes me instantly uplifts my mood, and I feel it's so important to have that. And had I not, I don't think I would be sitting here today if I didn't have the kind of support that I get from them. Hi, this is Sahher Bambba and you're watching Bollywood Hungama. Do subscribe.